Coming up, COVID-19 cases are still rising across the world, but some good news out of New York tonight. The curve is flattening. We've got the latest numbers and the governor's plan to reopen the state. And Not Again SU reveals how the coronavirus pandemic has impacted their movement. We'll tell you what their next steps are. And there's still time to cast a vote for Student Association, how you can make your voice heard, and more, tonight on the Citrus TV News Update. You can still vote on who will lead Syracuse University's next Student Association. Hey, I'm Carmella Boykin, and welcome to the Citrus TV News Update. It's the third day of essay elections, and every undergraduate student can submit their vote online on their MySlice account. You can vote for president, vice president, and a comptroller. Students can also choose assembly members to represent their home college. Voting closes at midnight on Thursday, and for president and VP, there's 3 options to choose from: Justine Hastings and Ryan Golden, Morgan Eaton and David Williams, and finally Sadia Ahmed and Yanan Wang. But the comptroller race isn't as competitive. Julio Burgos is the only one running for the spot. Now onto an update on how the pandemic has impacted the Not Again SU movement. Organizers told Citrus TV earlier this week that due to the pandemic, they're waiting to release their own list of what they say SU administrators agreed to during negotiations.
We wanted to be sensitive to the pandemic and not take away from the things that people are feeling and experiencing during this, and not really not center the protest right now. Because although it's ongoing and important, the pandemic, we also want to be respectful of the people that's affecting, and that includes people in our own movement. Not Again
SU ended their 31-day occupation of Crouse-Hines Hall during SU's spring break. Organizers say admin promised a final meeting to finalize comments made. At the conclusion of that meeting, administrators told protesters while they would stand by their commitments, they would not put them into a signed document.
So I honestly do not think that even if the COVID-19 pandemic hadn't taken everyone away from campus, I don't believe that they would have written out and signed onto these agreements, just because I've never seen them be so resistant before.
We'll have more from our interview with Not Again SU organizers on Friday's news update. Got something to say about online classes? Well, the university wants to hear it. SU sent out a survey about online classes and the transition to digital learning to students last night. You've got until April 29th to submit your response, and class evaluations for individual courses and professors are open too. You can find the link and your access code in your SU email. Members of the class of 2020 can attend grad school at SU at half the usual price. The Forever Orange Scholarship Program was announced Monday. Graduating seniors are all eligible for the scholarship, provided they plan on returning to SU for graduate studies. Interested students must also be admitted among its featured programs. As Syracuse hospitals suffer from historic financial losses, they have received help from the local community. 3 major hospitals in the area have raised almost $200,000 to help staff and patients. The Cross Hospital Foundation, which has raised nearly $80,000, is using part of its fund to connect new parents to their babies in the neonatal ICU. The Upstate Foundation has raised more than $50,000 for a variety of programs which will help medical students, families of employees, and visitors of those hospitalized. Finally, St. Joseph's Health raised nearly $50,000 in just the last week for 2 of its new funds. While the donations may seem trivial compared to the multi-million-dollar losses local hospitals are facing, they are a small bit of relief for frontline workers working to combat COVID-19. Moving globally, there are now more than 1.9 million COVID-19 cases, and the virus has claimed the lives of at least 127,000 other people. Germany is joining other European countries today by cautiously reopening some parts of the economy. A few shops are allowed to operate right now, but most other pandemic limits remain. And the head of the World Health Organization is criticizing President Trump's decision to cut funding to the organization. The U.S. contributes about $400 million every year, making them the WHO's biggest donor. The United Nations Secretary General chimed in too. He says no country should cut funding in the middle of a global pandemic. There are 26 new cases of COVID-19 in Onondaga County, bringing the county's total to 563. Cases in Syracuse are concentrated in the Strathmore, Southwest, and Lincoln Hill neighborhoods. County Executive Ryan McMahon says the data shows social distance policies are working.
If we continue to do this, we continue to starve the virus from new hosts, we'll be in a position to look at what it looks like in the near future about getting our lives back.
McMahon is also asking those who had recovered from the virus to contact Upstate Medical's Plasma Project to help researchers understand COVID-19. McMahon is extending the self-quarantine executive order until next Monday. McMahon also answered questions on a mobile testing site operated by the private laboratory Quest that is setting up in the East Syracuse Walmart parking lot. The county executive says he had conversations with Quest leadership and was not worried about the site. Quest did not contact health officials before setting up on Monday. McMahon urges people to continue social distancing and shelter-in-place protocols for another 6 days. In that period, the county hopes to collect more data to assess a potential reopening for businesses.
With improved data, the faster this improves for us, the better argument we have to New York State to treat Central New York as its own region, as its own restart. If the data doesn't show that we're ready for that, then we're going to have to go week by week with the data.
Meanwhile, the latest out of the state of New York, which holds more confirmed COVID-19 cases than any other country in the world. According to New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo, many numbers are showing signs of flattening the curve.
Total hospitalizations, click down, still in the 18,000, but a click down. Net change in hospitalizations, down. ICU admissions is down, that's good news. Intubations are down.
Unfortunately, the number of deaths still stands high.
Terrible news has basically been flat over the past several days. Again, the number of deaths is a quote-unquote lagging indicator. It's almost disrespectful to put it in scientific terms.
Also, out of the press conference today, more answers on how the state plans to slowly start back up in what Cuomo calls phased reopening.
There are two factors really on the reopening. How essential is what the business does? And then second, what is the risk of infection spread of that business?
Cuomo also signing a new executive order mandating all New Yorkers to wear a mask, mouth, or nose covering when unable to maintain social distancing.
You're walking down the street alone, great. You're now at an intersection, and there are people in the intersection, and you're going to be in proximity to other people, put the mask on.
And a major show of support from the Syracuse community after an SU professor's death last week. Falk College professor Evan Weissman died unexpectedly in his home on April 9th. Professor Weissman's sister started a fundraiser for his wife and 3 kids, and donations passed the $40,000 goal in a matter of days. It's over $60,000 right now, and many of Weissman's colleagues and students have contributed to the fund. For interested donors, the GoFundMe page is still open. That's what we've got for you on this Citrus TV news update. Make sure you check out our website and follow our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for the latest news and to check out all of our other content. For Citrus TV, I'm Carmella Boykin. Stay safe, SU.